MediPlan tasking. Tasking is a form of internal communication throughout the clinic, as well as it can be used as a to-do list for an individual user. Tasking can be done from all over the place by double-clicking on the patient's name and going new task. You can do it from the patient's chart. All over the place, you're going to see a messaging button. From within that button, you can create a new task or show all tasks. Now, when creating a new task, you will have a list of people you can assign tasks to. Now, that list is maintained per user. By going under an individual user's profile, I'll go under Talon's profile because that's who I'm logged in as. This is a list of all of the users that you have the ability to send tasks to. So you can add them all. This is your task list. So you might not want everybody on there, making the list larger. So I can remove certain people by removing those, and when doing a new task, that is the list that I have to send tasks to. So I'm going to go ahead and send a task on this patient. Please. And you can put a header for the person receiving the tasks. It's easier for them to sort them. And you can choose somebody from the list, or you can hit to do if you're sending it to yourself. Now, tasks have different priorities, and the priority determines the due date. By default, all new tasks are a high priority, and that is a 3-day due date. Medium priority is a week due date, and a low priority is a 1-month due date. Now, the difference is when you're looking at a task list, after a task has passed its due date, it will turn red. There's also an urgent task, which shows up in a different color in the list. All new tasks show up green. All tasks that are past their due date show up red, and urgent tasks show up blue. Also, when you send an urgent task, if the person you're sending it to is logged in, it'll automatically immediately pop up on their screen informing them that they have an urgent task, and you can change the priority of the task by simply just clicking on the button, or you can specifically state a due date. And once you've filled in your information, you can hit save. Now, users can manage their task list by going under Messaging Task Manager User. This will also pop up on the screen upon login for non-physician users. So when I pick this, I can see all of the tasks that have been assigned to me, and I can double click on my task. By stamping it, it just stamps the date and time and user, and I can say something like left message for patient. And I also down here at the bottom have the ability to go to the registration if I need the phone number. I can go to the chart if perhaps my task was to fax something or look up some details. I can go to next appointment. This patient doesn't have any future appointments. I can print if I wanted to. I can go to the directory if I need a referring address. And when done, because I have not completed this task, I would just save, and it would stay in my task list, and I can come in here and see all of the details that I've done. When the task is complete, there is basically 2 options. I can go reply send back, and what that will do will send the task back to whoever sent it to me, or I can just complete it. When completing it, I would hit save, and you'll see that there's a Y now in the complete column. And when I come back into my task manager, it is not there, as this only shows me tasks that I have not completed yet. You'll notice down here that my tasks incomplete, all incomplete tasks, my group incomplete. How the group works is under each user, I'll go to Talon here, you've got a task group here, and I can create a task group. So I'll go make this person reception. Now if I want to add other people, to the task group reception, I can come in here. Now that I've added it once, I can choose it for my other users as well. The idea being, if you've got 3 receptionists, they're all in the reception group, so when they're checking their tasks, they can check my group incomplete, which will show all of the incomplete tasks for anybody in that group. All my tasks will show completed and incomplete tasks. Another important button is assigned by me and incomplete. So if you've assigned a task and you want to verify if it's complete or not, you can click assigned by me and incomplete, and it will show you all of the tasks that you've sent that are still not completed yet. From the patient's chart, by going under messaging, show all tasks, it will show both incomplete and complete tasks. So you can come in here and see the tasks at any time. Now you can set up buttons for tasking, especially I know physicians will have a very common tasks they send all the time. For example, call, let patient know the results are okay, book a CT, etc., etc. So these buttons are set up per user, so you as the user have to be logged in while creating these buttons, and this is how it's done. Under the other menu, if you go to Task and Notes Tool Setup, and I'm going to click Add, now I give my button a name. Let's say Lab OK, for example, and my button, and I wanted to say, please call patient, results are okay. And I can save. And I can create another button, and we'll call this book. This is another way of doing it. So this is a button we're going to call book. And I'm going to save that. I'm not going to assign text to that because I'm going to create sub-flyouts. So I'm going to click Add. And under book, I want it to say CT. And then I'm going to say, please book CT appointment. And save. And also under book, I might have an MRI. So I'm going to go under MRI. And I'm going to say, please book MRI. And save. And I also might want to say an ultrasound. So under the book, I want ultrasound. And I want the task to say, please book ultrasound. And again, I might have a button for, let's say, Alberta Healthcare. And this one may not have a sub-flyout. When I hit AHC, I simply wanted to say, please verify patient health care number, please send task back. And I might have a button, for example, let's say we'll call this one INR, and this one's going to have some flyouts. So I'm just going to create a button called INR and save it. Then I'm going to go in and say under INR, I'm going to say, for example, same. Please let patient know we will remain on current dose. Or under INR, we might want to have increase. Please call patient and let them know to increase dose 2, and then that can be filled out. And one more, we'll go decrease. So INR, and we'll go decrease. And then here I wanted to say, please let patient know to decrease dose 2, etc. So you'll notice that when I go all mine, all of these buttons are just for my user designer. So each user can create their own buttons. And how these buttons work, when I go to do a new task, I can say lab OK, and it automatically puts in those details. Now I could also go book, and when I click book, I get my list. So I could go book MRI or INR same, for example, and that is how it works. And I could say I'm going to send this to Kara, and I'm going to save because Kara is also in the reception group. Now I can go in here and go my group incomplete, and I will also get Kara's tasks. That just helps with workflow. Now, also the last thing I'll point out, when a patient has an outstanding task, when you open their chart, they will have a flag that says outstanding task. And that is how tasking works.